Hello, and welcome to Pianime Recap. The plot begins on a gloomy day, with our protagonist, Ray, attending a funeral. He has a terrifying memory of people dying around him and ice erupting from his body. People nearby noticed the surge of power and worried if he was overheating. We meet Ray again later when he enters his new academy and saves a girl from collapsing. A pair of females nearby gossip about how they heard a new student will be arriving late that day and how he is not descended from an aristocrat or a sorcerer, but rather from a common household. Everyone frowns on this fact. And the girl he saved is disgusted because he touched a regular person. A boy named Albert then addresses Ray by name, explaining that only nobles and descendants of sorcerers are permitted to attend his school. Ordinary people like Ray have no place here. Albert tries to fight Ray when he says there are many things he wants to learn at the academy. However, their conversation is interrupted by Amelia, a member of one of the top 3 noble families. Albert continues to deny Ray and walks away, while Amelia cheerfully presents herself to our protagonist. She mentions how Ray is the first average person to attend the academy, implying he must have impressed someone with his talent. During the entrance ceremony, it is stated that the Arnold Academy of Sorcery is one of the finest schools in the world, and that everyone who attends has been recognized for their Italians as sorcerers. However, the speaker cautions them not to be arrogant and encourages them to continue working hard to better themselves. Many sorcerers with natural talent and the ideal environment eventually lose heart and allow their abilities to deteriorate. Instead, she instructs them to work hard and become frustrated sorcerers. This speaker introduces herself as Principal Abby and expresses gratitude to everyone present. Amelia, the incoming class representative, explains that this is just the beginning. Later, as Ray is introduced as the class's final student, students gossip about how everyone is talking about him. He tells everyone that he understands how unusual it is for an ordinary person to attend their school, but that he intends to give his all as a sorcerer. His speech elicits a mixed response, and the instructor, Miss Gray, requests that he introduce himself to each student individually. Amelia later wishes him luck, and everyone is taken aback that one of the top 3 families is interested in him. Albert is visibly upset, but Ray pays no attention to him. He remembers a destroyed town, but he comes to when he has to stop a piece of chalk from hitting him. Miss Gray requests that he pay attention before explaining sorcerer ranks. She summons Rose, who informs her that there are 5 ranks: bronze, silver, gold, platinum, and grand, which is considered sacred. There are only 7 grand sorcerers at any given time. These 7 have mastered the very essence of sorcery and are the pinnacle of sorcery to which all sorcerers aspire. Only a few details about the existence of these 7 greatest sorcerers are known to the general public. Principal Abby, also known as the Blaze Sorcerer, is one of them. The spellbinding sorcerer Carol, the most well-known of the 7 grand, comes next. Finally, the Iceblade Sorcerer is regarded as the Far East War's hero. The Iceblade Sorcerer vanished after bringing the Far East War to an end. There is no more information on the other 7 greatest sorcerers. Miss Gray emphasizes that the ultimate goal for all of her students should be to attain the rank of Grand Sorcerer. Albert, one of the Great 7, stands up to point out how ridiculous that is. Given that one of the students in class is ordinary and would be unable to achieve that goal, the other students agree. But Miss Gray points out that everyone at the school has passed the required exam as well as an in-person interview. Their background is irrelevant, and they have all earned their place there. Ms. Gray then has them practice the fundamentals of sorcery, explaining that it is essential for everyone, including the 7 greatest sorcerers. She then summons Amelia to explain that sorcery refers to the art of reconstructing prima materia, their world's primary building block of matter. Miss Gray shows how you must first encode prima materia, or convert it into code. Decoding must then be used to remove any excess. The data is then reorganized and moved to the processing stage. In this stage, data can be added or removed, and everything is manifested at the end. Those are the fundamentals. She goes on to say that anything they create can be undone. Furthermore, prima materia has no restrictions on what it can reconstruct. Everything is dependent on the sorcerer's own abilities. Sorcery is primarily the art of creating matter, which is classified into 4 types: liquids, solids, gases, and plasma. Anything other than those 4 is referred to as a phenomenon. A student then wonders if Miss Gray used antimaterial code to erase the earlier ice flower, but the instructor explains that it wasn't, and there is no such thing as an antimaterial sorcerer. It's then time for some practice, and Amelia shows off her skills by making her own ice flower. Of course, everyone admires her, but everyone turns to look at Ray, who appears to be struggling. Everyone makes fun of him. Albert, however, takes it a step further because he is enraged by Ray. He is a nobleman who refuses to recognize the existence of a talentless withered wizard. Ray then walks down the hall, admiring the building's construction. He notices the girl who inquired about antimatter earlier walk into a room, and follows her to discover that she is conducting additional research on the subject. She introduces herself as Elisa and later explains that her role model is Dr. Ainsworth. Ray is aware of the doctor's research on the advanced subject she mentioned in class, and Elisa expresses a desire to be just like her. Elisa is surprised to learn that Ray is aware of her existence, and he expresses his undying love for Dr. Ainsworth. Elisa is overjoyed because she has never met another of her fans before, but she apologizes for getting carried away. Ray then inquires as to why she covers herself when she has such lovely hair, and she inquires as to whether he thinks her ears are unusual. Ray recognizes her as a half-elf and expresses his admiration for her ears. She has been mocked her entire life, but Ray tells her she is beautiful. She is flattered by his words, and Elisa remarks on how mature he appears. It's as if he's not the same age as her, and he admits that he gets it a lot when the two part ways, and Ray goes to see someone named Evy Armstrong. Ray thanks Evy for the invitation, which Evy has been anticipating. Evy claims that he couldn't care less about Ray being ordinary and is only interested in how much muscle mass he has. Ray later goes for a run and apologizes for running past a girl. He is surprised to learn that the girl recognizes him, and she explains that it is because he is the Academy's first ordinary. She introduces herself as Rebecca and claims Ray is becoming well known for this. Ray reveals to Evy about his encounter that Rebecca is from one of the top 3 noble families. Ray is completely unaware because he grew up in the country and knows nothing about nobility. According to Evy, the top 3 noble families are just as powerful as the royal family and have sway over everything in the country. Amelia is also a member of one, and Evy explains that she has impeccable integrity, high morals, and first-rate sorcerer abilities. Ray leaves to see the instructor who needs to see him, but he encounters a girl who accuses him of being careless. Ray doesn't think he's to blame, but he apologizes anyway, and the girl recognizes him as the ordinary. The girl is pleased to hear Ray compliment her pigtails, and she introduces herself as Clara Cleveland, the girl of transcendent, raging cuteness. She is disappointed to learn that Ray has never heard of her surname, but another compliment soon wins her back. She must hurry away because she is in a hurry, and Ray meets with Principal Abby. He addresses her as Colonel, but she stops him and reminds him that they both retired from the military. She requests to be called Abby, and the two laugh as they recall their shared history. After that, Ray and Albert are set to spar with wooden swords, and the instructor warns them that if things get too dangerous, he will stop them. Students watching prepare to see Ray get beaten up as they mock him as the withered wizard. Evy introduces himself to Amelia and explains that Albert gave him the derogatory nickname. Ray's new friends are concerned for his safety, while Albert considers how disgusted he is by someone who can't even use sorcery. Albert starts the fight by declaring that Ray has no right to stand on the same level as him, but Ray easily avoids Albert's attack. Everyone is taken aback, and Albert launches another attack. Ray, on the other hand, destroys Albert's sword with a single slight movement. Principal Abby looks on, pleased to see him enjoying himself as a student, and refers to him as Ray White, the Iceblade Sorcerer. This concludes the first episode. Overall, the story has been great so far, and I am looking forward to the next episode. If you enjoyed the video, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. We will bring you another recap for the second episode.